Hello, everybody. It's attorney Laura Sterling, and welcome to my live show. I want to welcome everybody. Take a seat. Remember that we're doing a little different format now. We're going to be much quicker, much shorter. So we're going to be what was it, 2 weeks ago? I was 20 minutes. I'm going to try to squeeze it into 15 minutes. So hopefully you're ready. Sit back, relax. You have something to drink. You have something to nosh on. You have something to write with. Please know I am a Florida licensed attorney. So all the information I give you is Florida law. If you live in a different state or a different country, you really need to check with your local legal counsel. So we do not practice, like I don't practice the whole United States, unbeknownst to my father, who thinks that I do. I don't practice in any other state. You have to be licensed. I'm not licensed in any other state except for the state of Florida. So today's information is going to be Florida based. So as we've been talking about this month, we've been talking about alimony. In July of 2023, Governor DeSantis signed into law a bill that did away with permanent alimony. That was a very, very big change here in Florida. For years, they have been trying to get rid of permanent alimony, and they were finally successful. So if you recall the last live, I went over what the changes were. And so if you don't remember, please refer back to that video. If you still have more questions, please give our office a call. So today is alimony. Today is, what do you need to prove if you want to get alimony, if you want to receive alimony? Well, the alimony statute is governed under 61.08. 61.08 is what talks about the time, the percentage, and the elements that are needed. Now, the number one element in 61.08 Florida statute that talks about how you get alimony is need. You have to show the court you have a need. Hey, I was a stay-at-home mom. I took care of our 6 children, and therefore I didn't work. I didn't work throughout our, 15-year marriage. I didn't work throughout our 15-year marriage. I raised our children, and now he's divorcing me, and I need money. I have to have money. I have a need. I have 0 income. I need to get back into the workforce. I need to start earning an income. So that's a need. I'm showing you a need. I have 0 income. I have a need for alimony. Once I show that, then I got to prove the payor, my husband, spouse, whoever it may be, they have the ability to pay. How do they have the ability to pay? Well, this is their income. Here, you can't even see my other hand because I have no other income. Their income is way up here. But you got to show they have to be able to live too. I can't take all their money and say, hey, I'm living high off the hog. I'm entitled to this. They should have nothing. No, you have to allow the other spouse, the payor, the one that's going to be giving the alimony, to be able to live as well. So you show they have the ability to pay after they've paid all their necessary bills. This is the excess that they have left. So they have the ability to pay. Now, once I prove need and ability to pay, now the burden shifts to the payor. The payor has to show either I don't have a need or they don't have the ability to pay. Now, if I have 0 income, it's going to be kind of hard to show that I don't have a need because, of course, I have 0 income. I have a need. So my job would be to counteract that with my client doesn't have the ability to pay, and this is why. Maybe he's paying child support. Maybe he's paying attorney fees, all of this kind of stuff that I need to do to prove that he doesn't have the ability to pay. So the burden shifts to me. Now, let's say I don't do a good job of overcoming that burden, but I do. But let's just pretend I don't. So then the court says, okay, I'm ruling that the payee has the ability to pay, the payee has the need based on X, Y, and Z, because they got to make written findings in the court order. If they don't do written findings in the court order, that's an appealable issue. there's a need on the behalf of the person receiving the alimony, and there is an ability to pay on the part of the payor. So I've written findings of why I believe that is. Then what my job is then to look at 61.08, the Florida statutes, the elements of alimony, is to go through the elements to say, okay, is there really alimony in this case? And in 6108, they have several factors, like they always do. They always have several factors that you have to go through, and you have to show when you're wanting to get alimony. So if the court finds that me, who I'm asking for the alimony, has a need for it, and the other party has the ability to pay it, then for them to determine the proper form of support or any deviation from that amount is some factors. So let me go through. There's about, I don't know, it's A through H, and let me go through them with you quickly. The duration of the marriage. As we talked about last time, is it a short-term, moderate, or long-term marriage? That'll depend on how long they get alimony. The standard, then, the next one, the standard of living established during the marriage and the anticipated needs and necessities of life for each party after the entry of final judgment. So if I'm the one and I have zero income and I got to get a job and I got to do all this while the payor is over there living high off the hog in a mansion and doing all that, the court is going to look at that. So they're going to look at it, the standard of living during the marriage, and how that will affect the two parties now that they're separated. So the standard of living established during the marriage, were you living comfortably? Did you go on vacations? Was all the bills paid and you live lavishly? You each had 3 or 4 cars? They look at that. The court will look at that. Also, the next factor is the age, the physical, mental, and emotional condition of each party. And so what is that? Are we looking at people who are maybe a little older and there's some issues going on, some health issues, those kind of things? Is there some mental health issues where that person cannot get a job? So they look at those. And is alimony temporary or permanent? But again, no more permanent, but what are we looking at as far as alimony? The next factor is the resources and income of each party. So what is being generated from marital, non-marital assets? What kind of income does the person who didn't have an income or had the need, what are they looking at as far as income? What are they looking at as far as any training to get to that income? Once they get to that income, is there an ability to get more? So that's what they look at as well. They look at the earning capacities, the educational levels, the vocational skills, the employability. I'm telling you, I just had a full day trial last week on my birthday on this same issue, on alimony. And one of the issues is, what is the earning capacity? I had the husband. They wanted alimony for my client. What's the earning capability of the wife? What's her vocational training? What's her background? Now, she didn't work at all during the marriage. It was a short marriage. It was a 6-year marriage. So the most you would pay is 3 years, right? That's 50% of a short-term marriage. Looked at her, what did she do in the past? Well, she was a restaurant server. She worked in a factory. She worked at a clothing store. She had some experience to be able to get a job. Now, not anything making, a lot of money, but at least coming in. So we're able to show that, hey, she has a history of working. Yes, she didn't work during the marriage, but she did work before, and she has the capability of doing X, Y, and Z. So again, looking at the earning capacity, educational level, does she have any education? Did she go to school for anything with that? Does she need any more education? All of that. So the next factor, the contribution of each party to the marriage. So the wife stayed home and took care of the kids while the husband was able to work his way up the ladder, work, 80 hours a week and get an income and get a status where now he's at the top. And here's wifey or partner that has raised the children who's got nothing, who's going to be leaving with nothing because she or he put their education, their training on hold so the other person could climb the ladder. So they're going to look at that. What did the person who's in need, what did they give up so the other party could excel? So they're going to look at that. The next factor is the responsibilities of each party will have in regard to any minor children that they have in common was special consideration given for special needs children. So if they're going to be working only part-time because they have to care for a special needs child, or maybe they have young children to take care of, those are kind of the factors that will be associated as well. If the payor is having to work many hours, I have a client that works 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. No lie. So what kind of care? He can't really take care of the children. So the wife is going to be taking care of the children. Okay. Is she able to work and take care of these children? In my case, yes, because they were teenagers. Come on. Teenagers don't need much caring for. They just need a lot of watching. But anyway, so they look at that ability as well. So, and of course, as we all know, the very last factor that every court in every jurisdiction, I swear, I could be wrong, and in every case looks at, and any other factor out there that may have a bearing on the alimony. I mean, what is that? I always want to know, what is that? Any other factor could be anything. And I could be on my side objecting through everything, objection, Your Honor, objection, irrelevant. And the other side could argue, well, under the last element in proving alimony is and any other factor. So we feel it's relevant because it's that any other factor. So I think that that's way too subjective, but I didn't write the law. It's there. That's what the courts can follow. Now, the court can't just take this into consideration and then order some alimony. They have to actually go through all these elements and give written findings as to whether or not they're granting alimony. They got to put the written findings in the order explaining why they're granting the alimony. And if they deny it, they also have to do written findings pertaining to each element as to why they're denying it. So it's a double-edged sword. The court has a little job, and actually the court usually makes us submit proposed orders. So we either are going to do it denying or granting, and then the judge makes a decision, does her little verbiage, and out pops an order saying, okay, this is the amount of alimony you make. These are the elements. This is why. Or you're not paying any alimony. These are the elements, and this is why. So that's my short and sweet on alimony. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you got something out of it. And please, 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 always, always, always check in your jurisdiction, no matter where you are, if you're wanting alimony. And here in the state of Florida, we don't look at adultery or cheating, for a more simple term, when we're deciding a divorce. We're a no-fault divorce, but it does come into factor when we're deciding alimony, because if the other party dissipated assets to pay for this other relationship, alimony can be taken into effect with that as well. So anyway, it was so nice seeing you. I'm glad you stopped in. I hope that this helped you a little bit with finding out what we look at when we're deciding alimony, what the elements are. Our last video was about the changes. If you have any questions whatsoever, we're here for you. We're here in the state of Florida. We're here to answer your questions. Feel free to give us a call, and I'll see you next month for guardianship. Take care and have a beautiful day.